She walked into the hospital carrying twins and left with only one. 2 years later, she saw her dead child on another woman's lap. That moment unraveled a chilling truth. Babies were being stolen and sold by the hands meant to save them. Now, one mother must expose the powerful doctor behind it all and fight to bring her child and the truth home.
Kufana wasn't just poor. It was cursed. For years, pregnant women from the village had gone to the city for help and returned with empty arms. The baby died, they were told, but whispers slithered through the dusty streets. The doctor takes them. No one dared speak the rumors too loud. In Kufana, the truth was like smoke. It disappeared when you tried to hold it. In this forgotten village, just outside the bustling city of Abuja, where the roads were more dust than tar, and the sun punished both the rich and the poor, lived a young woman named Halima. She was known in the village as a quiet, humble girl with soft eyes and strong hands. But life had been unkind. Her laughter had died with her parents. Orphaned at 16, Halima survived on scraps of kindness from neighbors who had little to give. She washed clothes, sold roasted groundnuts, and sometimes went to bed with only a cup of gari to quiet her growling stomach. Still, she kept going. At 24, fate threw her another twist. She was pregnant, not with one child, but with twins. The father, a smooth-talking trader from a neighboring town, had vanished as soon as she told him. Twins are a blessing, the old women in the village said. But Halima knew better. In Kufana, twins were either a miracle or a curse. The sun was a merciless orb in the sky that afternoon in July. Halima walked along the edge of the highway that led into the city, her legs aching beneath the weight of a sack filled with clothes she had washed for a woman in town. Her wrapper clung to her with sweat, and her old rubber slippers flapped weakly with every step. She was halfway to Wuse when the sleek black jeep slowed beside her. She froze. The tinted window slid down, and a man leaned out. He was a tall, good-looking man with a clean-shaven face and a gold watch glinting on his wrist. His skin smooth like someone who had never walked under the sun. "You look like you need help," the man said. His voice was calm, almost too gentle for the dusty road. Halima gripped her belly protectively and took a small step back. Strangers in expensive cars didn't stop for women like her, unless they wanted something. "I'm fine," she mumbled. The man's eyes dropped to her stomach, and he gave a warm, practiced smile. "You're carrying twins, aren't you?" Halima's eyes widened. She hadn't told anyone in the city yet. Yes, sir. I'm Dr. Jaid," he said, stepping out of the car with ease. "I run New Plate Specialist Medical Center in Wuse. We help women like you all the time." He reached into his pocket and handed her a white, glossy card with gold lettering. "Dr. Jide Olawale, New Plate Specialist, Medical Center, Wuzetu, Abuja. Come tomorrow," he said. "All your tests will be free. Don't worry about the bills. We'll take care of you." Halima stood still, her heart pounding. Was this a miracle, or one of those strange tricks Abuja was known for? But when she looked into his eyes, all she saw was calm. "Thank you, sir. God bless you," she whispered, her voice cracking as tears gathered at the corner of her eyes. The man gave a nod, stepped back into his car, and drove away, the dust rising behind him. Halima stood there in the sun, clutching the card to her chest, caught between rising hope and a whisper of fear that tickled the back of her mind.
Please kindly subscribe to our channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This is really important for us to grow. Thank you.
The next morning, Halima woke early, her heart racing with something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. She arrived at New Plate Specialist Medical Center before noon. It was nothing like the clinics she'd visited in the past. This place looked like a palace. Tall white walls, shiny glass doors, floors that gleamed like water, and nurses who smiled too brightly. She walked inside slowly, like someone stepping into a dream. Everything smelled of flowers and antiseptic. It was too clean, too calm. "Halima," a nurse called. "We've been expecting you." They took her by the arm, gently, treated her like a guest, like royalty. They gave her orange juice, offered her a soft bed to rest on, and the tests began. It continued for weeks. She would come, sit quietly, answer questions, and leave more confused than before. Every time she asked to see her file, the nurses would change the subject or flash that empty smile again. Then one cloudy afternoon, Dr. Jaid himself came to see her. He held a folder in his hand and sat beside her on the padded bench. "Halima," he said gently, "your babies. They're growing too fast. If we wait too long, it could be dangerous. We need to operate early." Halima's heart skipped. "But doctor, I feel fine. Better than ever." Dr. Jide placed a hand on her shoulder, firm but kind. "I've delivered hundreds of babies, Halima. I only want what's best for you. Trust me." She hesitated, searching his eyes for something real. But there was a curtain there, like a man used to hiding things. Still, what could she say? This man had saved her, treated her like a human being, gave her help when no one else did. She nodded slowly. "Okay." The operation was scheduled for Thursday. That morning, Halima lay on the cold operating table, dressed in a loose hospital gown. The lights above her were blinding, like three suns staring down. A nurse leaned in with a syringe. "Just something to help you relax," she said softly. Halima flinched as the needle slid into her arm. And then, darkness. She didn't dream. She didn't move. The world slipped away, like water through fingers. When she opened her eyes, it was night. Her head throbbed. Her mouth was dry. Her arms felt heavy. And her stomach was flat. A wave of panic slammed into her chest. A nurse stood nearby, scribbling something onto a clipboard. When she saw Halima awake, she rushed to her side. "You're okay," she said quickly. Halima's voice was barely a whisper. "My babies?" The nurse hesitated. Just a second. But it was enough. "One of the babies didn't make it," she said, not meeting Halima's eyes. Halima's scream shattered the stillness of the room. No, what happened? What about the other?" The nurse flinched. "The second child was transferred to a specialist hospital for treatment." "Which hospital?" "Let me go there." "You need to rest," the nurse interrupted. "Doctor said not to worry. They'll call you soon." She handed Halima a small slip of paper with a name scrawled on it, barely readable. Before Halima could even sit up fully, two men came in and helped her into a taxi. Her hospital bag was shoved into her arms. The car drove off, leaving the gates of New Plate Specialist Medical Center behind her. Halima stared out the window, her arms empty, her heart hollow. Something was wrong. She knew it. She just didn't know how wrong. Yet. One sweltering afternoon, when Kabir was 20 months old, Halima took him to the government clinic in Wuse for his vaccination. The waiting room buzzed with noise and heat, packed with mothers and crying children. As she adjusted Kabir on her lap, her eyes landed on a boy across the room. Her heart stopped. He looked exactly like Kabir. Same soft curls. Same dimples when he smiled. And then she saw it. The birthmark on his left shoulder. Halima stood, her knees trembling. The child sat on the lap of a wealthy-looking woman, dressed in expensive lace and glittering gold jewelry. Outside the clinic, a sleek black car idled, and printed on the car door in gold letters was a name she'd never forgotten. New Plate Specialist Medical Center. A chill ran through Halima. She didn't need more proof. She knew. It was him. Her son. Her other son. And the woman holding him. She had to be the doctor's wife. Halima approached carefully. "Good afternoon, madam. Sorry. When did you give birth to him?" The woman looked startled. "Excuse me?" Halima smiled awkwardly. "It's just that he looks exactly like my son." The woman said nothing, turned around and walked away. That night, Halima didn't sleep. She knew what she saw. The next day, Halima wore her neatest clothes and went to the address written on the doctor's hospital card. She waited until the rich woman stepped out of her car. "Madame," Halima called out, "please, I am looking for a job. I can clean, cook, and take care of children." The woman looked her over. "Do you have experience?" "Yes, madam." She was hired on the spot. Now, Halima was in the lion's den. Days turned into weeks. Halima watched how the boy, whose name was David, was treated. He was not loved. The doctor's wife would leave him crying for hours. The boy was always afraid, always hungry. His nanny was harsh and careless. But with Halima, it was different. David would smile, laugh, run into her arms. She started bathing him, feeding him, singing lullabies from her village. Sometimes she cried while looking at him. And slowly, her memory returned. The smell of the operating room, the injection, the silence. She remembered the missing baby. She was sure David was her son. Working undercover in the doctor's mansion, Halima found more than just her stolen son. Upstairs, behind a locked door, was a nursery with 5 children, all with birthmarks she recognized, all from her village, and one was her friend Amina's daughter. The truth was worse than Halima imagined. Dr. Jide didn't just steal babies, he sold them. Rich couples, politicians, even a notorious human trafficker whose wife miraculously had twins every year. Halima went to the police. She told them everything. But the officer on duty laughed. "Madame, do you know who you are talking about? That doctor built our police clinic. He's a philanthropist." Another officer warned her, "If you lie against him, he can sue you for defamation." Halima left in tears, but she didn't give up. She went to the media. She told her story on live radio. She showed baby pictures, birthmarks, documents. The story exploded. #Justice for Halima began trending on Twitter. Under pressure, the government launched an investigation. The Ministry of Women Affairs stepped in. Halima, Kabir, and David were taken to a private lab for DNA tests. The results? A 99.9% match. Both boys were her biological sons. The country was in shock. More women came forward. Some had similar stories from the same hospital. Dr. Jide was arrested. The trial was long and painful. Lawyers tried to protect Dr. Jide. He denied everything. His wife cried in court. But the evidence was too much. Medical records were falsified. The operating nurse confessed. the anesthetist revealed how Halima was drugged. The judge gave his verdict. Dr. Jide is guilty of child trafficking, kidnapping, and medical malpractice. He is hereby sentenced to 20 years in prison with hard labor. Gasps filled the courtroom. Halima wept, not for sorrow, but for joy. The government awarded Halima full custody of her twins. They gave her a new house, a business grant, and medical support. Kabir and David grew up side by side, brothers who had once been separated by greed, but reunited by truth. Halima started an NGO to support single mothers and expose illegal adoption rings. She became a voice for the voiceless, and her story was told across Nigeria. In the land where power silenced the poor, one mother's love shouted louder than gold. From the dusty village to the rich halls of justice, Halima's journey became more than just a fight for her sons. It became a lesson for every soul. Moral lesson. Even the most trusted faces can hide the darkest secrets. But courage, truth, and a mother's love can break even the deepest corruption.